Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a new friend and powerful guest in Regeanie Corona, who is a former information technology executive who left a successful career in cybersecurity to use her skills and experience to have a greater impact in the world by combining her knowledge and expertise to create innovative business solutions to solve social issues. So as a social entrepreneur, Reg has consulted with local governments and nonprofits on strategic direction and organizational effectiveness, and has helped raise over $7.5 million to support various local public health, community development, economic development projects. She has advocated in both state and federal legislature for public policy changes, supporting funding for affordable housing, minority-led and opportunity zone small businesses, and fair lending practices. This is the real work, lady. I love it. In 2015, she founded Advancing the Seed Incorporated, which is a social enterprise nonprofit whose mission is to develop strong leaders for business and community engagement. Now she helps other entrepreneurs and professionals multiply their impact by teaching them how to start, grow, and scale profitable, sustainable social impact businesses, including nonprofits. She provides her clients with strategies to build businesses that do well so they can give more. I love it. Thank you for being here, Reg.
Oh, thank you for having me, Hannah. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we were talking a little bit before we hit record just on how I'm excited to speak with you on some of these tactics, like how to actually make things happen and make some change. So I'm even more impressed reading through your bio again in real time and really appreciate you being here with us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Social impact is so important. It's really exciting to be here to talk about it.
Yeah, and you probably always had a sense of that, you know, social impact is important. I'd like to make the world a better place. I'd like to leave a legacy of some sort. I'd love to go back though to those like final moments or those pivotal moments working in cybersecurity and how you navigated your way out of that kind of successful career. I'm sure there's plenty of work and plenty of things that can be done in that industry. So take us back to your transition out of that career into social entrepreneurship. What inspired that shift?
Yeah, so I am a person of faith, and when I tell this story, I would be remiss not to include this. I literally came out of prayer one morning and heard that I needed to leave my job. And for anyone who has ever experienced that, whether you have a Christian belief, a Muslim belief, whatever it is, your higher power, and you believe your higher power has called you into something different, that's hard to accept, right? So when I first heard that, I was actually a single mom at the time. My kids were young, and I had a really good job making really good money. And I thought, there's no way I could do that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I hear you, but I need a different sign. I need a signier sign before I'm gonna walk away. Okay.
Yeah. So that was in 2011, at the end of 2011. And I literally just refused to accept it. I wouldn't surrender to it. Because I'm a person who plans. And I was like, well, I know what is happening with my current career. I have no idea what I would go and do if I left my career. So fast forward 18 months later, I decided, okay, I need to follow, because it started to be a burden on my heart literally every day. And I also felt like the job that I loved and what I knew very well became the job that I really hated. I no longer had a joy in the work that I was doing. And I think that was the thing that moved me forward and really progressed me to the next step, because I realized I was no longer getting peace and joy and fulfillment from the work. And so
Yeah,
I made the
that
decision.
tension grows for sure. Like I
Yes.
see that all the time, when folks are like, I'm gonna start this side hustle, or I'm gonna do this thing after work. And then you start to get some momentum, or you just know that it's there. And it's so hard. Nothing changes at your 9 to 5, but it's so hard to be there. That was definitely me in my desk job, where it was just like, I probably left a little bit earlier than I should have, like without a plan, but I was just not a productive teammate. I was not happy to be there. I can totally relate to that tension building and really just like motivating you and me to leave maybe.
Yeah, there is that tension. It's a resistance that comes when you're getting ready to move into, I believe, when you're getting ready to move into purpose, that thing that you really are supposed to do in this lifetime. You are met with a lot of resistance. And most people give in to the resistance and don't go beyond. And that's part of what I try to encourage other people to do. Don't be afraid to move beyond. And I know there are a lot of things to figure out in this, and there were a lot of things to figure out for me. One thing that was really a blessing for me was that I was also at the point of remarrying. And my current husband, at the time, he was my fiance, and we talked through it. And he said, I fully support you. I believe that it's something you're supposed to do. And so together we said, okay, we're going to go for this. And I tell you, Hannah, the first 30 days, so I walked away from my job May 13th, 2013. And the first 30 days, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was just like, okay, I'll cook, I'll bake, I'll be Susie Homemaker. I did that for about 2 weeks. And then I'm one of those personalities. I have to keep busy. I have to know that, I'm contributing in some way. And so I was talking to some people at church and found out that this organization existed and needed some help. And I want to back up to your point about having a heart to serve. I can tell you that I didn't even know if I had a heart to serve previously. I was so busy climbing the corporate ladder and focusing on that I didn't think about, how do I serve in other ways? I would write checks to satisfy my need to give, but I didn't really focus in on my heart as a servant leader until I came out of my career. So that was the first thing. I had to leave my career to actually get my heart in a place where I was ready to be a servant leader and to really give back in the ways that I believe I'm supposed to give back in this world.
Yeah. I think there's like 3 key components to being like a true like service provider, like heart-centered business owner. Number one is the abundance. Like if you don't have the money, if you're not taken care of, if you're coming from a place of scarcity, it's really hard to give in an authentic way. I think the second piece is role model, like how other people do it, how you can make a business and take care of people, right? Like seeing that. And then the third thing is space. And if you're just in the hustle and grind or on the corporate ladder, yeah, you're just like doing your job. You're not able to like pull yourself out of the day to day and think bigger picture, world, other people, legacy, right? So I'm hearing in your story, you're finding that sweet spot of abundance for yourself, so, support of your new husband, the role modeling, maybe we're going to get to that next when you start to find people doing this, and most importantly, the space to live into it and to allow it.
Yeah, I definitely abundance. You have to have an abundant mindset in order to be a servant leader. And abundance is not, people equate money to abundance. It does include money, obviously, but there are other things that are part of abundance. And just being grateful, getting up every day and being grateful for what you have in your life now, and not complaining and not focusing on the negative, because the more you do that, the more you attract into your world like that. And so abundance is really super important. Modeling, at the time, I actually didn't have anyone to model things for me other than, again, leaning back on my faith. In the church, I started to think more about my faith and how I believe my faith caused me to be a person of love and light in the world, and to show up that way authentically every day. And that naturally progressed to, how do I serve as a leader? How do I give back in everything that I do? And so I consider what I do marketplace ministry, because I get to go out and minister love to the world. It's not about my Christian beliefs. It's about how I love other people and how I can give to other people. And that was probably the biggest lesson that I had to learn first. And, modeling, I saw other people that were running nonprofit organizations. I was helping other people. By that point, I had learned, okay, I have some skill sets that I can take into the community and help small nonprofits, help others that are trying to do good in their communities. And I started on this path of consulting and helping to raise money. I learned everything I could about grant writing. I was already good at proposal writing. So the things that I had done previously, I was able to use those skill sets, which was awesome. And I quickly became a service provider as a consultant. And sometimes I charged, sometimes I didn't. It depended on the circumstances. But what was most important to me was helping other people live in their purpose and helping them to move that forward in a way that could be profitable in an area that's normally not viewed as needing to be profitable. So,
and I want to get into that. I want to get into, how you can do great, make great money, and keep some great money as well. But if anyone has been listening to the show since the beginning, you are going to think you're hearing a broken record, because I have said this for years, and what you're embodying is the Zig Ziglar idea that when you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want. And I've seen this over and over in my own business and other people's businesses. Like, as soon as the focus turns to how am I going to make money? How am I going to become internet famous? How am me goals going to happen? Momentum slows down. Income slows down, clients leave, weird things happen, right? And then as soon as we shift it back to how can I improve my program? How can I get my clients better results? How can I get this out for free? How can I help more people? That's when our personal goals always happen more quickly. So thank you for sharing that story. I think it's a really big takeaway for folks, whether you're just starting out or you're hitting a plateau or you just want to expand. How can you help more people? How can you help other people? Great.
Yes.
Great. So can we get into some of the things that you're teaching and consulting today around what you just said? How can we actually make money in a nonprofit or a place that's typically, not known for its great profit margins? What are some of the things that you teach in your consulting space these days?
Yeah, so because I come from an information technology background, I'm drawn to that. And I'm always looking at things like, what are people doing in traditional for-profit businesses? What do the business models look like? And how can we borrow from those and disrupt in the nonprofit space to really bring in more revenue and to actually generate profits? So I've really wrapped around the digital marketing space. And when you look at the strategies that are used in digital marketing to bring in customers, you can do very similar things in the nonprofit space to bring in volunteers and donors and people who will help champion and support your mission and help advocate for it. The other thing is unlocking what people already have at their disposal. So when you look at a nonprofit, oftentimes they have the ability to do consulting. They have the ability to do coaching. They can teach. They're often doing those things in the nonprofit already, but they're doing it under programs where they're giving it away for free. And those programs are traditionally paid for by grants or donors or other fundraising tactics. that bring in revenue. But we forget that we can actually charge for those services to a different clientele. And this is what I teach nonprofit leaders. You can continue to give those services away for free and have them funded in other ways for the people who need them most. But the things that you are providing, oftentimes you can innovate with them and rethink them and put them out and package differently for a different audience of people who are willing to pay for your service or your product. And as long as you ensure that your product or service relates back to your mission, then you don't have to worry about this little IRS rule that is, you get taxed on unrelated income. So I won't get really deep into that, but if you develop an income stream in a nonprofit and it doesn't relate to your mission at all, then the IRS can tax you on that. And then there are other things to talk about it at that point. Do you want to start another business that belongs to the nonprofit? And I won't get into those things very deeply, but those are all strategies that you can use to bring in revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I work a lot with like coaches and consultants. I volunteer with nonprofits. So they got me where they want me, I guess, in this kind of idea that you're talking about. But what I'm hearing, what I'm gleaning for like business owners or solopreneurs here is to look at what other offerings you can make that you're already doing. So just like in a nonprofit, like you might be teaching teachers how to do this after school program. It's like, okay, then how can you package that for administrators or schools across the country and like scale that? That's one idea that might be kind of basic. And I think about the same thing with coaches because Reg, I just did this in my own business. I realized with a lot of my coaching clients, I was looking at their content. I was like giving them feedback on their copywriting and helping them with, and I was like, this one little thing that I'm doing for my current coaching clients is like a whole nother business of like just niching into this, like doing copywriting for coaches. And so it's really taken off. Again, back to this point of like, I was coming from a place of curiosity and like, would this help more coaches that aren't my clients? Could I, get this to more people? So I think for a lot of our listeners, the question that you want to be asking in your business or in your life is, what are you already doing?
Yes.
That can be a mini package side of your like flagship offer. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I would totally agree with that. And especially for coaches and service providers that are doing a lot of consulting, I would recommend that you look at, and I did this as well, look at what your clients are asking you over and over again, the questions that you get the most. Look at how you can turn that into something else. Maybe it's an online program. Maybe it is a membership program. Maybe it's a completely different line of business that you can offer. Maybe you can offer a done for you service if you want to do that. There are all manner of things that you can do. And then I would also say, innovate in that. So there are so many people that are out in the coaching space and the consulting space that there's a lot of noise out there, right? So look at what you're doing and then determine how you can pivot just a little bit so that you do things slightly different than everyone else. And that becomes your unique value proposition, but it also becomes a way for you to innovate. People tend to think innovation is technology. Yes, that's true. But innovation could be you take an existing business model and you tweak it a little bit and you do something different that excites people. That's innovation.
Yes. And I will even like pour some chocolate frosting over this cake you just made for us and say that oftentimes it's not about us looking at it and us like thinking about it. I got on the phone with my favorite coaching clients and I was like, what did I actually help you with? Like, because over 5 years of coaching, I started many different things. And a lot of my favorite clients came to me initially to like get their, like raise their prices and get their first high ticket client. But then we grew over years of working together. And they're like, actually, Hanna, like you helping me grow my team and scale my marketing is why I keep coming back to you. And I was like, wait, if you're hiring other people to do what I'm telling you to do, like, could you hire me for your marketing? And it was that like slight pivot, right? And it's
Yes.
not radically different what we're doing inside of the business, but it is that unique value proposition, which I think coaches have such a hard time doing because we can help anyone and we can do anything, and we just, we can be really general. And so I love everything you said, and I'll just give kind of like a action item is to get on the phone with your favorite clients and you ask them, what's the unique thing I bring to you? And see how you might be able to create like you said, a mastermind done for you, or another package to add streams of income. Because
Yes.
what happens when women and servant leaders make great money, Reg? What do you see happens then?
They give
In
it
your work?
back. They give it back. The more we make, the more we give. And so, this idea that the limiting belief actually that people carry around with it's bad to want to earn a lot of money. No, it's not. It's really good to want to earn a lot of money if your heart is in the right place. And most women, their hearts are in the right place. And statistics show that when women build businesses, earn more money, they go out and they give more. They give to their communities.
And they create opportunity.
Yes.
So they hire people, they create jobs,
Yes.
they create community. There's tons of research done on this, and I see this over and over in the work that I do. Again, women are like, yes, hire the help around the house, please. Yes,
Yes.
hire someone to take this off of my plate, which then creates so much opportunity, right? Every person on your payroll or every VA that you're paying every single month, like that is impact. That is opportunity you're creating for other people and other families. So if you need any more
Yes.
reason to like delegate and grow, maybe again, think about helping other people, even your team.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, with the nonprofit that I run, Advancing the Seed, we actually we primarily work with young adults. Like that is our target group of people. We want to help build them into the leaders that we know they're destined to be, and we put them back to work through internships and part-time opportunities, doing things in the organization. And my team they're basically the demographics that we serve through our nonprofit. And they're all around the world. And I love that. I get up every day knowing that I'm making a difference in someone else's life, and I'm helping them to put food on their table and giving them work where they're learning and they're enjoying. So it's very, it's very much an ecosystem.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Win, win, win.
Yes.
In a business model is totally possible. So thank you so much for being an example of that. And I would love to learn a little bit more about, like you mentioned, advancing the seed. So tell us a little bit about what you all are up to in that side of things.
Yeah, so Advancing the Seed, we provide training and coaching. And prior to the pandemic, we would go in and work with workforce development entities. So we don't do what they do, but we are wraparound services. So we do training on self-sufficiency and financial literacy and entrepreneurship, because we want to help individuals, especially young adults, become self-sufficient and have access to the tools and resources to be able to do that. When the pandemic hit, we were already testing out a virtual learning platform. And so we put that in full swing. And
there's your opportunity.
Opportunity, there you go. And so we pivoted and started doing everything online, which has been absolutely fabulous. We are partnered with the state of California and a workforce development program called the California Conservation Corps. And since 2016, we've served a little over 3,000 individuals through our programming. And we currently are at about 500 individuals a year, and that number is climbing. And now we're expanding. So we're now starting to provide resources virtually to anyone around the world that needs access to learn how to do things like entrepreneurship and marketing. And we provide basic content. We have free content, we have paid for membership content, and all of that, all the money that we bring in is used to further the mission. So it goes right back into the organization. So.
I love that. In a world with more heart-centered entrepreneurs is a really, really beautiful one, in my opinion. So what are some of your students up to? Are they creating their own businesses, or what types of things do you see participants walking away or walking into maybe?
Yeah, so we do have some that are starting their own businesses. They are creating nonprofits. They're creating social enterprise businesses where they are for profit, but they're looking at how to socially impact the world in a positive way. We also have people that are going into careers, but they're going into careers that align with their values, their beliefs, and their purpose. You know, we're often teaching people, go out and get a career. I don't know how many times I've seen this happen to me as well. People who go to college, for example, for one thing, because it's trending, it's what's supposed to be the thing where you make great money. And then you get into it and you find, I absolutely hate this. It's not what
I
you're
was an
supposed to
academic advisor. It was literally my 9-to-5 job to like give 30 options to these young, bright-eyed, talented people. And it was like biology or psychology. And now, you know, it's just like such a different world, and having that exposure and like programs like yours, I hope is expanding that mold, because yes, you and me and hundreds of thousands of other people can relate to that. Yeah.
Purpose is so important. And, you know, that's a whole other discussion, but I will say that wrapped up in your purpose is your joy and your peace. And when you look at the Gallup poll results that say about 80% of people in the US who are in the workforce are unhappy with their jobs for one reason or another, that's a large percentage of the workforce. And my motto is, we should be able to get up every day and do what we absolutely love doing and make money doing it. And whether that's running your own business or working for someone else, making sure that your values and what's important to you and the ultimate kind of end goal is aligned is so very important. And if we can't get to that, then we're going to continue to have those high numbers of the workforce being unhappy. And I think that's sad.
Oh, yes. Wow. You are speaking to my soul right now. Thank you. So good. So good. And I think we'll just kind of tie a bow on this massive gift that you've given us today, and just let people know where they can continue this conversation with you and learn more about all that you're up to.
Absolutely. You can find me everywhere with my first name. I want it to be a little bit like Oprah. And so Regeanie. So I'm at Regeanie.com. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. Everything is Regeanie. So just look me up that way and you will find me one way or another, and we can absolutely continue the conversation. You can also find me at advancetheseed.org.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Regeanie. You are like Oprah. I appreciate that. I really appreciate everything you shared with us today, and we'll make sure that folks can get connected with you in the show notes. And listeners, we'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help you make your dream life your real life.